name is Jon Stewart. We have a tremendous show for you tonight. Later on, we're going to be joined by CNN international anchor Christiane Amanpour. But first, we need to talk about the big revelations that have been coming out about the private lives of America's depraved coastal elites. I'm referring, of course, to the Real Housewives of Rhode Island trailer Andy Cummings got. At BravoCon, it appears the smallest state might have the biggest drama. And then, obviously, there's also thousands more Jeffrey Epstein emails to go through. Let's get into that with another installment of...
It's pretty boring stuff.
On the premiere of Season 8 of the Epstein Files, old emails continue to resurface, sparking renewed interest. Because of exchanges like this one, which really encapsulates the absolutely astonishing nature of this entire affair, I give you... This is an email exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and his brother Mark.
In one email, Epstein's brother Mark told him to ask Steve Bannon if, quote, Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba.
This sentence, maybe 18 words long. 7 of those words are Steve Bannon, Putin, photos, Trump blowing Bubba. It's a rich text. Literary scholars will secure tenure off the analysis of this text. Steve Bannon, Putin, photos, Trump blowing Bubba. And I know what you're probably thinking. Jeffrey Epstein had a brother? He did, apparently. And to the second thing that you might be thinking...
Mark Epstein released a statement clarifying that the name Bubba was not a reference to former President Bill Clinton.
Thank you for clearing that up. No further questions, Your Honor. Wait, before I go, one last thing. Which Bubba was he blowing then? It's not Bubba Gump, that's a restaurant. And you can't blow a restaurant. By the way, that's not a challenge, Mr. President. You see, but these are the kinds of questions that can be answered by releasing the Epstein files, which Donald Trump has been steadfastly against.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
Did you see the blowing email? It's kind of interesting. I mean, the little taste of that, no pun intended, did arouse, again, no pun intended, some curiosity about the rest of, if I may, the load. That one I meant. But pressure is building. Is there any way to talk about this story that doesn't sound ejaculate adjacent? People are begging on their knees. No, this is not. Demanding release. No, this is. But the House of Representatives clearly now has the votes to demand that the Epstein files be released, which is why this weekend Trump pivoted.
The president writing on social media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide.
Oh. Nothing to hide. For those of you at home who are watching tonight and have something to hide, whether it be a simple guilty pleasure of the lowbrow television variety, hello, swinging Mormons, or a body encased in concrete by your sump, at some point the walls will close in, at which point you too will probably find yourself saying, maybe not via tweet, hey, go ahead, look, I got nothing to hide. But you do. You do. And so does Trump. Because guess what? If he had nothing to hide, he could have declassified and released these files himself at any time. How do I know this? A legal expert named Donald Jurisprudence Trump said so.
If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it.
Come on, Donnie boy, don't think about it. No, don't even. Think about baseball. Think about your grandma. Think about baseball. Think about your grandma playing baseball. Don't think about the classified. I declassified it. Oh, I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I declassified in my pants. It's very clear Trump does not want these things out there, which is obvious even from his nonsensical answers about it in the Oval Office today.
We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton.
First of all, are you okay? And second of all, we've tried to look at those people, but every time we do, your picture comes up. But yeah, investigate everyone who had a relationship with Epstein, which includes, if we're being honest, you, Mr. President. And by the way, investigate the Democrats. And maybe you'll find out. Yeah, exactly. Investigate them all. And by the way, while you're out there, see if you can find the Democrat who cut a sweetheart prison deal for Ghislaine Maxwell after she told your lawyer she never saw you do anything wrong. Oh, and by the way, never saw Jeffrey Epstein do anything wrong either. Have at it. Because the perks that Maxwell is getting in prison would seem sketchy for a run-of-the-mill white-collar larcenist, let alone a convicted sex trafficker.
Tonight, new details about the list of perks that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting behind bars.
Private meals and mail delivery, cellmates reassigned for privacy, special visits in the chapel, and the warden helps her send documents and emails.
The warden? Hello, warden. It's Ghislaine. I'm having just an awful time converting this file to PDF. Would you be a dear? Yeah, I'll send the IT guy. Oh, no. You will attend to this personally. Yes, Ghislaine. I'm sorry. Yes, Miss, I'm sorry. Am I still on the phone? Yeah. Yes, Miss Maxwell. And scene. All right. I don't know what I was doing. The f***ing warden? And it gets cushier, literally.
One of the perks that I think that people may be surprised that is a perk is the idea of unlimited toilet paper.
The audience literally gasps right now. I've been a free man my whole life. I have never had unlimited toilet paper. Never. In my life. I wasn't raised that way. But Maxwell, she's just wiping and wiping. Hello, warden. Would you be a dear? Unlimited toilet paper. explain her prison Halloween costume this year. Oh, unlimited. Is it possible that Trump's whole bullshit facade is crumbling? I mean, right now, all he can do is distract from one lie with what is clearly another lie.
All I want for people to recognize the great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability.
What planet do you live on? Great job on affordability. My Taco Bell order is now $72. By the way, I still round up for the children. I don't want you thinking I don't round up. This dude is flailing. The normally reliable Trump is even struggling to deliver on his greatest gift, the cutting nickname.
Over the weekend, President Trump repeatedly going after one of his closest allies and staunchest defenders, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Calling her Marjorie Taylor Brown because, quote, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot.
You know, I've always said that the best nicknames are the ones you have to explain in parentheses. Right, Bubba? Hey, Bubba! Hey, Bubba, he's from the South and he likes being blown. Bubba! But believe me, this is real. This Epstein thing is no Democrat hoax. And you know it's real because Trump's allies are working overtime to distract. Or in the case of Fox News, not even to mention, when the emails came out, Fox devoted most of their airtime to such urgent matters as the socialist takeover of Seattle, the Treasury phasing out the penny, the Northern Lights, the growing popularity of Christian music, and as always, Kamala Harris goes crazy for carbs. Move over, elite pedophile ring. Kamala's gone Garfield on the lasagna. My God. Any other problems with the emails?
Another critique we're hearing from some Republicans is that these emails are cut and spliced. They're taken out of context. Some of them are a little bit difficult to decode, if you will.
Bullshit. Difficult to decode? Have you read these emails? They weren't put together by Navajo code talkers. Here are the emails. Hey, Jeffrey. Rented a huge house in Ibiza, invited lots of girls from Russia, all models. The scout used to scout for Trump, but he doesn't work for him anymore. He's coming with 12 girls and would like to meet you. Or how about this one? I will send you a picture of this Burmese girl. Very pretty. I will bring her to the U.S. Yeah, probably not on an H-1B. Look, these emails are explicit, and they were written post-Epstein's conviction in 2008. And even then, these motherfuckers felt so invincible that they didn't even think to try and hide any of it. No mafia, hey, did you take care of that thing? No, the donuts are in the container. No, even ixnay on the Earl's Gay. But suddenly, the right is all, this is impenetrable. What language be this? So let's go back and remember how this whole f***ing dance started. Let me take you back to 2016, when another batch of emails was released, and MAGA had no trouble busting out the decoder rings for those emails.
The Pizzagate conspiracy began with the Clinton WikiLeaks. The conspiracy theory quickly spread to Reddit and YouTube, feeding fake online news stories alleging a Clinton campaign child sex ring.
Well, that's an incredibly serious charge. And seeing how the right doesn't like to jump to conclusions on emails, I assume that these emails were pretty concise and clear about the extent of what would be a horrific crime.
The original source of all this? A leaked email to John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chief. It was from his brother, and it said simply, "Would love to get a pizza."
My God. Could it be any clearer that John Podesta and his brother are running a family-owned child sex ring? What else could "would love to get a pizza" mean? That was the famous Pizzagate conspiracy. When people were so obsessed with finding evidence of sex trafficking, they built a whole code book and applied it to those emails.
What they found were numerous references to pizza, a term Urban Dictionary says is slang for child pornography. So somehow they concluded that Podesta and company were speaking in code.
These conspiracy theorists started saying that pizza and cheese and pasta were code words, referring in fact to child sex abuse.
Why did the Podesta emails mention the code word pasta for either little boy or sex 78 times?
Why would he mention pasta 78 times? Other than the fact that he's Italian. He's Italian. What are you? He's Italian. If you try to type Podesta into your phone, half the time it will autocorrect to pasta. If anything, 78 times is low. I mean, who knows what this dude is into? But mentioning pasta doesn't make someone a pedophile, even if it does make them a penephile. Hi. I'm comedian and Daily Show host Jon Stewart. Sometimes it's a challenge for a comedy show to discuss sex trafficking networks. So you have to find the jokes wherever you can. Generally, that does include pasta puns, even if they do make me feel a little silly. But the Pizzagate conspiracy wasn't just left to grow on its own. People in MAGA world were very happy to feed that fire.
This is tied into Podesta with thousands of emails.
There were little kids going in and out of this back room. Like 1 or 2 kids. And this is a bar.
Podesta, the molester.
QAnon. A lot of this stuff these guys have been talking about comes out to be true.
Pizzagate, as it's called, is a rabbit hole that is horrifying to go down.
Yeah, I think if people thought anytime someone mentioned pizza, they were talking about having sex with kids, yeah, that would actually be terrifying because it's the most popular food in the country. But you know what this shit does? It trivializes and tries to politicize what is an actual real f***ing problem in this country and this world. And has now put those same influencers in the position to back away from this in present time with far more explicit evidence.
This is an email without any context. Once again, ultimately, it's just Epstein trying to pull Trump in and implicate him.
And they've been over him. They've been cherry-picked. They know it's there. It's all old stuff. So it's just more gaslighting, more deception.
As I've always said, context is important. As I say on my show every day, the truth is oftentimes nuanced. That's why you gotta be real careful with this shit. And as for Bannon, through these emails, we've learned he was working with Epstein to figure out ways he could rehabilitate Epstein's image. It's amazing. With these Podesta emails, it was all, they were the Enigma machine, decoding everything. But these Epstein emails now are a New York Times crossword puzzle from a Monday. You can figure this shit out in ink. In fact, the only guy that I have to give props to is Alan Dershowitz. Not for moral integrity, but this dude's been on Epstein's team from the get-go, and he's sticking with it.
He pleaded guilty to one count of having sex for money with a 17-year and 10-month-old person. That's not pedophile.
Yeah. Little rule of thumb for everyone out there. If you ever find yourself counting anyone's age in months, chances are the person you're describing is still a child. But maybe the most shocking thing about this, and I cannot stress this enough, convicted sex trafficker, is the extent of his social network.
We mentioned some of the emails between Epstein and writer Michael Wolff.
Epstein emailed he received a gift from Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Contacts include liberal academic Noam Chomsky,
Ehud Barak, and Larry Summers, and Deepak Chopra,
Sunyi Previn, Woody Allen's wife,
Landon Thomas of the New York Times,
the former Prince Andrew,
Ken Starr, Peter Thiel.
Look at the names in these emails. You get Democrats, Republicans, Silicon Valley billionaires, spiritual thought leaders. You got an Israeli prime minister and the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. My God, the range. What it tells you is that a certain stratosphere, the petty differences of class and race and religion fade away. Where left and right, Jew, Arab, and Christian, ultra rich and, oh my God, is that a rocket rich, find common ground and show us that we can live in peaceful coexistence. It would be almost beautiful. If not for the sex trafficking part. Oh my God, elite sex trafficking ring. Is there anything you can't spoil? And I'm not saying these people are all in the ring, but Epstein was a convicted sex offender at the time of these emails. And of course, mentioned in these emails more than anyone else, more than 1,600 times, is Donald Trump. Is that evidence of his guilt? No. But it shows that he's a part of that world. And certainly the circumstantial evidence points to his understanding of what was occurring. But if there are more of you out there that need definitive proof, perhaps this will convince you.
It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut.